The first step to discovering any business opportunity is coming up with an idea, which will be the basis or foundation for a business to grow. How can one come up with a relevant business idea, and how to develop that idea to create the perfect business for oneself and one's brand? The world around us is filled with ideas that can be useful. If you like videos about business, money and psychology, subscribe to Luxury with Care, where I help you realize your potential and become more. In business, the most dangerous words to tell yourself are, my business is different. Because most entrepreneurs have a tunnel vision and look at their business in one perspective, focusing only on what they believe is right and caring only about their view, instead of looking at things in multiple perspectives. Most entrepreneurs or businesses in the same industry operate the same way. They look at other businesses and they say, if that business was able to make this strategy a success, maybe it'll work for me if I use it. This is how most entrepreneurs think and how they begin copycatting each other by stealing ideas from one another. But just because others do it doesn't necessarily mean it will actually work. Business is a sport, an intellectual sport, and I want to train and teach you on how to think in the sport, how to act in the sport, how to start the sport, and how to survive in the sport. Intel and knowledge is very valuable in the sport, as business is war. The guy who works the hardest might not be the guy making the most amount of money. But trust me when I say, the guy with all the knowledge, intelligence and skills will definitely be making the most amount of money, because these type of entrepreneurs will always win the war. One of the things most entrepreneurs forget is that you need to look at your business's numbers. Better yet, look into the future. Where will your business be in the future? People go into business for multiple reasons, but the main reason is money. If you want to give to charity, if you're a heartless capitalist, if you're an entrepreneur with big dreams, you'll need money in order to achieve those dreams, in order to achieve your goals. Most entrepreneurs go into business without even looking at the numbers, and the few that do will still jump into the business even if the numbers are sending off all kinds of red signals. This is because they have bad assumptions. The number one key to business success, even though I might say the number one key to business success is something else in another video, this is because they are all important, very important. But in this video, the number one key is to avoid bad assumptions. Entrepreneurs assume that their business idea is a good idea. Then they set unrealistic goals. Your family and friends tell you as an entrepreneur how much they love it and tell you how great your idea is. But then it turns out whatever you assumed was wrong. Because when you ask your family or friends to buy what you are offering, they refuse to buy it, even though they had told you how much they love it. Then you don't make any money, and if anything, lose more and more money, month after month, because you're still optimistic that things will still work out. And only after losing a large amount of money, you realize you should have researched more. You should have tried to better understand the industry that you were entering. You should have looked at the numbers more clearly and asked yourself whether or not you're willing to put in the time and effort required to turn your business into a success. So yes, the key to a business becoming a success is to avoid bad assumptions. Challenge yourself, ask tough questions. The questions I ask myself or ask entrepreneurs to ask themselves is, what could go wrong? What could go wrong? The next question is, what don't I know? What don't I know? The third question is, what don't I see? What don't I see? So these three questions are, what could go wrong? What don't I see? And what don't I know? So if you ask yourself those questions, what could go wrong? What don't I see? What are the odds, the risks, versus what are the chances that everything goes right? Which chances are it will not go right? Don't think about the upside, think about the downside. Are you willing to lose that money? Will you be able to live with yourself if you fail? What will you do in the worst case scenario? Then, if you do succeed, well, then everybody's happy. You also need to understand your industry, because when you do, you know what is important and what is not. You'll also learn how to provide products or services that will match the industry standard, because you aren't the only person selling or providing that product in that industry. Your business idea must meet a need. You need to make sure your idea is valuable to your target market. Ask yourself, who are you selling to? What are the other people in your industry doing? How can you not be different per se, but how can you be better? How can you make what you're selling more attractive to the prospect than the other businesses in the industry? You might not need to come up with a new, untapped idea, but you must create an idea that will make you better than everyone else in your industry. This could even be done by finding out what the other businesses in your industry do and don't do, in order to find something you can capitalize on, in order to stand out from the crowd. But you should not let it lead to competitive paralysis, because some people are so fixated on what their competitors are doing that they are never able to truly start or better their business, because they are always looking to find out what it is their competitors are doing wrong or how they can be different, instead of looking for ways to make themselves better. Look at where you want to operate and establish your business, and whether or not it will be successful in that area or location. Just because a certain restaurant does well somewhere else does not necessarily mean it'll do well if placed in a different location. Let's take a Thai restaurant. The only reason it might do well in one location is because it is the only Thai restaurant in that area, and there aren't many other restaurants in that area. But when it's placed in an area with many other Thai and other types of restaurants, its chances of success decrease drastically. Your opportunity needs to not only meet the need, but be able to thrive in your location. And before you actually pick the location, you need to know how your target market operates. Why is it they buy what you sell? You need to learn to listen to your audience. Ask yourself, what are the challenges faced in your industry that prospects face? In a restaurant, maybe it's the food taking too long to arrive. Maybe there are too many customers packed in a small area. Maybe it's even your prices. There's also the issue about your prices, which is another key factor, and how to package your skills and expertise or products in the marketplace. Most entrepreneurs think, let's see what other people are charging. Then you try to price your services close to the other business prices for services similar to yours. Right there, you're competing based on price and not competing based on value. Because what dictates price? It's supply and demand. Supply and demand dictates how you price your products. Ask yourself, are you uniquely qualified to solve this problem for your prospect? Ask yourself, what is the value you are providing? You need to sell a result. What does it cost a prospect not to do business with you? Why do people pay high prices for other services while there are other cheaper alternatives? It's because they have a higher value and people are willing to pay more for better results. Hi, this is Lukxury with K. I want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now you might ask, why should I? Well, every week I'll post a new video focusing on helping you become a better entrepreneur. You will be challenged and you will be inspired, and you will be motivated. More importantly, you'll get practical ideas and strategies that will take your business and life to the next level. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single episode, and click on the video on the bottom that I have personally selected for you.